Around how many joined? 77 faculty, maybe at least 75 faculty have joined this session. I think there's no point in waiting more time. We have waited 5 minutes more. Good morning, all the participants, the professors from various colleges of engineering, diploma, pharmacy colleges. And I think Pratima, you can, others I can mute, otherwise I can. Yeah, I have muted. Please, those who are not only when they ask questions, please unmute and speak, and others, please request you to all keep muted your speaker. So once again, good morning, all the participants, professors from various engineering, diploma, and pharmacy colleges across India. In fact, sir, actually around 210 faculty have registered. Hopefully, they will come back today. Yesterday, around 150 faculty participated in the session, and there was a three interaction session were there, and it was went well. So hope that today also it will you all cooperate, and then we'll able to do our justice to the possible. Now, actually, I have my professor, Dr. S. Manjappa. He is my mentor. Actually, I'm really delighted to welcome him and then introduce you because I don't require anything to read about him because I know his what is called Jatka or all his full biodata. Professor worked in a college in Davangere, Bapuji Institute of Technology, and retired as a professor in chemistry and environmental engineering department. And meanwhile, actually, professor also was a special officer in VTU Belgavi for some time. And the professor had many grants, actually, maybe a tune of 3 crores or maybe 5 crores. I don't have offhand information. And he has guided more than 15 students. I am one among fortunate one among them. I think now it is total. It is going to be 21, I think. And Professor actually is a distinguished member in various committees. He was a member in EAC committee in Ministry of Environment and Forest Climate Change. And he was a technical advisory member and chairman for and he was a member in State Environmental Appraisal Committee for 2 terms actually. And I think if you go on, maybe he has got more than 100 publications for his credit in international and national level, and apart from seminars. Actually, I also worked with him since many years on various consultancy works, and then some project implementation like that. And sir has got a vast experience and maybe a rich knowledge source actually. So I think that is more. Still, if I am go on reading, it will be take another 10-15 minutes to read his biodata. Just it's a brief. Happy to introduce and welcome Dr. Manjappa sir for this presentation. Is over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Puttaswamy, for your wonderful introduction. I really compliment you and your team for selecting such a wonderful topic for the benefit of the faculty and other members of the technological institutes and universities as well as industries. I am pleased to be associated with this FDP program. Without wasting my time, I will be directly going to the presentation or the responsibility given to me to the participants of this ATAL AICT ATAL FDP program organized by you. Good morning to all the fellow members, experts, as well as the participants. As you are fully aware of the fact that the topic on which I am speaking today is one of the rural-based industry or agriculture-based industry, which is an ancient industry wherein the industry was started for the benefit of economical status of the rural population. Incidentally, this industry can also be called as a agriculture-based industry. So much so, the industry was given a lot of encouragements in the beginning of the industrialization. With all that support given by the government agencies, probably the sugar industries could not able to sustain on their own economically. They also started creating a lot of environmental hazards because of the byproducts and the end products which have been produced during the process of the sugarcane in the industry. In my presentation, I will be throwing you some of the salient points with respect to industrial setup, government support, and its activities. And later on, I will be addressing the process in which the industry has become a sustainable based on the advent of newer technologies to process the byproducts as well as the waste in the industry. And finally, how actually the technological implementations or the advent of different newer technologies gave a place for the sugar industry to become economically feasible as well as environmentally sound. To begin with, let me start by giving an overview about the sugar industry and the sugar production. As you are aware that sugar is being utilized for a common man as a input for the food industry. Sugar production in throughout the world is said to be 170 million metric ton per year. India itself contributes about 25 to 30% of the 20% of the total production to the world, giving about 25 to 27 million metric tons of sugar. Per capita consumption, it is said that about 10-15 years back, it was only 13 kg per person per annum. Now it has raised to 19 kg per annum, wherein the world average is said to be 23 kg per annum. Of course, sugarcane in India is grown by almost 5 million farmers. That means 5 million farmers' families in the rural area grows this sugarcane as a agriculture cultivation. It is said 2% of the cultivatable area and 8% of the agricultural output. The total agriculture output, if you consider in India, 8% is contributed only by sugarcane itself. It is said, except Brazil, we are the larger producer of the sugarcane and sugar, as well as the highest consumers also based because of our population. It is also contributing about 80,000 crores to 1 lakh crores of worth products to the nation. The contribution from this industry as a tax is said to be about 7,000 crores and comprising about 7.5% of the Indian rural population. It can also generate 8,000 to 10,000 megawatt of eco-friendly power because of the waste. One of the waste what is produced or a byproduct which is produced during the process of sugarcane. In a subsequent explanation, I will give all that details. And it also has a potential to earn a substantial foreign exchange by the way of exporting the sugar. It can also play a major role in the development of rural India. It is also, Government of India has made it mandatory to put 10% of the petrol, alcohol, ethanol in the petrol, so that one of the byproduct which is produced there in the sugar unit, which we call it as a molasses, which can be productively used for the production of ethanol, and which can substantially earn the foreign exchange by reducing the import of crude to an extent of 10% of the petrol and petroleum products what we are using, and also greenhouse gases can be reduced for the environmental safety. If you look at the total industries which are available in the country are more than 600. Among them, about 259 factories belongs to a cooperative sector. Largely they are in Maharashtra, UP and Gujarat, and also in our Karnataka. Over 50% of the above units have a capacity less than 2,500 units. Most of these units are unviable, loss-making due to inefficient operations and poor management. Most of these cooperative sugar factories have been started for the purpose of incentives obtained from the government and to have some status in the society. Many peoples have started these industries in the rural area. It is also said in the occasions, it is also practiced, especially in Maharashtra and UP, if a person or a cooperative chairman owns a sugar factory, he can have an position of the MP, or he can easily win over the MP post in the elections which he contests from the region, was the status. Because of all the social status and other government advantages, many industries have been started, and because of pampering and the benefits given by the industries, the competitiveness was not all that very good, and thereby sugar factories were not at all coming up to the expectation, or they were not making any profit in the region. Thereby, ultimately, farmers and the agriculturists were the utmost sufferers in the operation of these industries, because directly all these industries, sugar industries, used to collect or take sugar cane from the farmers only. If there is no profit, the distribution of money towards the agriculturists or for the farmers was accordingly distributed, or the industries used to have a lot of debts. So to look into all this, Government of India has thought of liberalization of all this has been curtailed, and new ventures have been added to the system. The explanation about all that I will be giving at the next stage. If you look at the cost of production, the sugar units on the index of 100 points, if you take, Australia is the lowest index, which is considered to be 50, followed by Brazil 58, and Thailand is 63, wherein with all this fragmentation, India overall cost of production is indexed as 67 unit due to higher cane price compared to other countries. The cost of production is highest in European countries. So during the year 1998, because of all these defects, when our Honorable Devegowda ji was the Prime Minister of India, he delicensed the establishment of sugar industry. Earlier to 1998, there were a lot of incentives provided to the sugar industries, and also there was a licensing phenomena. While applying for the licensing, there were benefits given to the industry, like the land is given at the free of cost, or government land was provided to the industry, and water supply was given free of cost. many other incentives were also given to establish and to promote rural industries and agriculture-based industry in the country. With the liberalization of this delicensed phenomena, the only criteria what was practiced is between the sugar industries, 15-kilometer distance should be there to have a sustained supply of sugarcane to the industry. This is the only one criteria what they have kept to start any kind of sugar industry in the country. Incentives for the sugar factories after delicensing was withdrawn. Levy component was also reduced to 10%. Levy component was very higher because any sugar factory which produces sugar, they should have been given this sugar directly to the government at the reduced price. That was also another defect in the operation of the sugar unit. So this component has been withdrawn from 2002. Holding limits of the traders was also removed. Forward and future trading permit in the future trading permitted in the sugar. Mandatory use of 5% ethanol with the petrol was implemented from 2003 January. Now, of course, it is enhanced to 10%. There are certain reasons that why so many years, almost 15 to 16 years, we could not able to enhance the 5% ethanol utility to 10%. The reason being, the production of the ethanol has to be catered to the requirement of the petrol. The petrol consumption equivalent to 5% to 10% all of a sudden by an order, it is not possible to implement. That is because the production of ethanol is based on the raw material what is obtained from the sugar unit. Sugar unit, if the sugar unit capacity, crushing capacity is increased, then only you will have a molasses component available. So the molasses, what is available, quantity has to be increased, and thereby the production of the alcohol has to be increased. Thereby availability of the ethanol to be produced only based on the crushing, enhancement of the crushing capacity. Enhancement of the crushing capacity means industry capacity has to be enhanced. It is not just possible just by increasing the capacity, crushing capacity or operation capacity of the sugar industry. You cannot produce a molasses. That is because the raw material what is required has to come from the farmer's land. Farmers have to expand their cultivation cultivation in the land to an extent of requirement of the sugar cane and the capacity of the sugar factory. If you imagine the sugar factory, a capacity of 2,500 tons, crushing capacity of a sugar unit, if you imagine, approximately 60 to 70 ton per acres of the land is produced. Thereby, if you want to have a 2,500 TCD, that means tons per day has to be crushed. So much, 2,500 divided by 60 to 70 tons. So much of acres of cane should be available per day for harvesting. And even cane maturation is also almost 11 to 12 months matured. Cane has to be supplied to the sugar industry, or otherwise the quantity of the sugar recovery from the sugar cane will be less. The maturation comes only after 11 months up to 12 months. The sugar unit is a very typical industry wherein the recovery of the sugar and the products and byproducts depends upon the maturation of the agriculture. That is the thing. Here, agriculture scientists, technocrats, environmentalists, and economists all has to jointly work here. Sugar industry cannot be even operated throughout the year. This cannot be a 365-day industry, or it cannot be continuously operated for the reason that there are no sugarcane species which are available which can grow in all the seasons. At the most, if you think that even the agriculture management is also so difficult to educate the farmers to educate the agriculturists is also a difficult thing. The operation of the sugar industry is so difficult that is because of so many management constraints. Whenever during the month of 1 month, if there is a season, sowing of the sugarcane, all the farmers will initiate at the same stage. But the sugar unit cannot take the entire sugarcane, what is grown in the sugar agriculture fields, in a single day. It has to be distributed for so many days. If the sugar industry has to be operated for 200 days, 300 days, each day, 2,500 tons capacity unit should be supplied with only 2,500 divided by 60 tons or 70 tons. Those many acres of sugarcane grown can only be transported to sugar industry, and thereby it can be processed, or otherwise there will be a overrush. And even after 12 months, as I told you, 11 to 13 months is the most appropriate time to crush the sugarcane. If you cut the sugarcane much early, the sucrose content will be less, and thereby you don't get a recovery of sugar what is to be optimally extracted from the sugarcane. If it is over matured, then also fiber content will be more and sugar content will be less. And that type of research has to be done by an agricultural scientist, so that in all the days, in 365 days, the cane can be cultivated. And even after maturation, the extractable sugar component should be stabilized. All such research have to be undertaken with respect to sugarcane as well as the process of industry in this industry. The raw sugar manufacturing is allowed to facilitate the substantial exports. Comprehensive policy for a policy to encourage cogeneration of power has also been incorporated. Relaxation in sugar packing. Earlier, the sugar unit, what was producing bagasse, one of the byproduct, after crushing the sugar cane, they were completely using that only for the captive consumption of the power and steam generation in the boilers. But with the advent of newer technology like high pressured boilers, cogeneration of power has been implemented. So with this cogeneration power, the sugar units have started, exporting the sugar generated to the public grid, and thereby started earning revenue along with the sugar. Relaxation of sugar packing order has also been bought. Molasses price was decontrolled. Earlier, molasses, what is one of the byproduct in the sugarcane process, when the sugarcane is processed, about 4% of the byproduct which is obtained, which we call it as a molasses, which is actually a sort of a inorganics and the fermentable sugars which are removed from the sugar content, is also a raw material for the alcohol industry for the fermentation and alcohol production. So this molasses price was controlled by the government and allowing it for a controlled price. The industries were not having any say over the price fixation, etc. And from this decontrol activities, the molasses price can be fixed by the sugar units, and thereby they can get their revenue back, and the loss making of the sugar units can be reduced by the way of selling these byproducts also, or by converting this molasses into alcohol. They can sell the product as an alcohol or as an ethanol. Thereby the income status of the sugar industry can be improved. Quantitative restrictions on import and export was removed. Cane price rationalization was also done through a central government, a commission of agriculture. Costs and prices have been implemented, and they have evolved a scientific method to evolve the price of the sugar cane. By doing all this, impact of decontrol the consolidation of industries. Sugar industries have started. Two small units have started merging together. Accusation by a competent persons have also been seen. Decontrol expected to tamper the cyclicity of the industry. Under decontrol and de-license scenario, incremental capacity of addition, the efficiency of the production, and all these byproducts processing, etc., have been implemented, and the economic status of the industry has become little viable. The economics and the case study also I will be presenting there. You will appreciate how actually this has helped the sugar industry to become viable. Decontrol will encourage sugar industry to grow to the attractive global economic scenario. And government, with the decontrol phenomena, it started providing only level playing activity. Import duty on sugar was raised so that import of sugar from the other countries have to be curtailed. This has provided a level playing field to domestic industry. Sugar exports and imports under open general license without any quantitative restrictions have been allowed. Internal transport subsidy, whoever exports, a subsidy extension has also been made so that the rates become compatible to World Trade Organization's restrictions. It is also seen with this introduction, sugar was almost 13 lakh million metric ton was exported during the year 2000 and 2001, wherein this year it has exported hardly about 5 million metric ton because of decrease in the production, as well as so many other economical considerations, and utility of the Indian domestic consumption also increased. Thereby, the reduction has been seen. Imports were also coming into India, not because of their competitiveness for the production and this thing, but many governments are offering many concessions, and thereby the other countries started exporting their goods to the Indian market. Cane price rationalization has also been done using standard minimum price and state advisory prices. There are two concepts by which statutory minimum prices are fixed by the government of India, and states can also, based on the recovery concentration or recovery of the sugar in the region, and the expenditure and the viability of the industries, they can give the price to the farmers based on the supply given to the industry. Now, way back in 2001, the quintal or the ton rate was almost, it was 810 rupees per ton, 81 rupees per quintal, wherein now presently 1920 has fixed a S&P price as 285 per quintal or 2,850 rupees as a per ton of cane sugar. This has given a boost to the farmers. Thereby, with the production of sugarcane in their fields, they can get attractive revenues. Government started encouraging mixing of alcohol with petrol, 5% ethanol blending, as I told you. It has started from January 3rd to start with 9 to 10 states wherein sugar and distilleries are operating. Not all in the entire country, we don't have sugar units. Sugar cane growing is also dependent on the soil condition and moisture condition and temperature condition decides and prevails upon all this. Even region to region, from area to area, the recovery of the sugar and the fibrous content will also be varying. Even in Karnataka, when you think about the southern part of the state of Karnataka, Mysore and Mandya region, we have a sugar recovery. A ton of sugar cane can give you about 90 kg of sugar. Wherein if you go to a northern part of Karnataka, beyond Haveri and Bijapur, etc., including Belgaum region, we have about 120 kg of sugar production to the ton of sugarcane. So this way, region only 9 to 10 states are growing sugarcane. In the first instance, Government of India has introduced 5% of ethanol blending with the petrol in these 9 to 10 states first. Now it is throughout the country, it is being advised for the oil companies to mix up the ethanol to the tune of 10%. Of course, 10% ultimately we have not achieved yet to mix the entire by 10%. It is said, as per the literature available, 8.5% is only now being mixed by the oil companies because of the non-availability of the ethanol to the required quantity. It is the government is also exploring the possibility of mixing a diesel with the ethanol only when the capacity enhancement is made and capacity is available. Of course, Government of India is helping these industries on an accelerated scale. Even the approvals and other criteria of on environmental angle and other processes have been accelerated to enhance or to expand the distillery units and sugar units in a war-footing way. Thereby, this can substantially save the foreign exchange, eco-friendly product, which also reduces a lot of greenhouse gases. If 10% mixing is there, 10% greenhouse gases are reduced. Likewise, this also replaces another chemical which was using along with the leaded petrol, MTBE, methyl tributyl ethylene ester, which was using as a accelerated fuel along with the lead tetraethyl, has been withdrawn with the addition of ethanol to the petrol. This also increased the alcohol demand with the production of molasses. Alcohol demand, as it is said, as it is increased from 2001 to 2006, I have given the table. Of course, now also the demand what was there in 2006, it was in the demand was in the volume of million liters. Now it has risen 10 times. In the same order, the requirement has become a billion liter of 380 billion liter of alcohol is required for various implementation and various utilities. Alcohol is not only being utilized only for the purpose of mixing with the petrol, it is also being utilized for portability, laboratory use, pharmaceutical drug manufacturing, and even in the laboratories, etc., it is being utilized. That is the one aspect of it. The second one is cogeneration incentives have also become attractive to these industries. Sugar industry can generate about 8,000 to 10,000 megawatt, about 10% of the power. What is eco-friendly power? What can be generated out of the bagasse. What is generated from all these sugar industries in India. 100% captive power requirement is currently generated from bagasse fired boilers, and this also encourages power generated have been made PPA, public power purchase agreements have been made by the government agencies, so that the entire power generated through this cogeneration process have been agreed upon to buy by the government agency to supply to the government grids. Power generation from bagasse comes under clean power. Therefore, this was also attracting a carbon emission trading benefits earlier. Government plans to provide soft loans for sugar development through Sugar Development Fund to encourage the cogeneration. With all this, the sugar utility is also increasing. The industry is growing very stubbornly in a robust way. The reason being, India is adding largest sugar consumers every year. Demand drivers for the future are the soft drink consumption is growing, rather increasing. Export of Indian sweets are also increasing. Domestic habits like consumption of cakes, urban culture like celebration of Valentine's Day, birthday, chocolate eating, etc. are also increasing. Shift of consumption from gur to sugar is also becoming a practice. Increased consumption of tea and coffee, wherein sugar is added as a component instead of a gur, has given a way to increase the production or utility of the sugar in India. The concept of integrated sugar complex is fast catching. Integrated sugar complex means it is not only a sugar which is being produced. In this complex, along with the sugar, power, alcohol, biocompost, biomanure, it is not CNG, it is compressed biogas and carbon dioxide, as well as the potassium recovery from the distillery waste has becoming a order of the day. Power, alcohol, and chemicals will add substantial profit to bottom line and will reduce fluctuations in profitability. Fullest utilization of byproducts and essential for economic and environmental viability of the sugar companies have been seen. If you look at this one diagram, will give you a substantial explanation about the sustainable development of the sugar industries, how actually the sustainability can be made, can be explained like this. The farmers grow sugarcane in their fields. This is supplied to sugar factory, and then there will be a process wherein 10 to 12%, of course, even 8% recovery is also in some of the parts of UP and Bihar. The recovery of the sugar from the sugarcane is only 8.5%, and even in our case, in Mysore district and southern part of the state, we have about 9% recovery. And on average, when you take about 10% recovery of the sugar can be taken. It is also said the sugar factory is also a water producing industry. About 70% of water is produced. If you crush about 5,000 tons of sugarcane, 3,500 tons of water is produced. We produce only 5,000 quintals of sugar. 30% of bagasse, 30% of a bagasse is with 50% of water. Otherwise, it is only on dry basis, only 50% fiber will be there, which we call it as bagasse. The same bagasse can be used as a fuel. It will have about a calorific value of 2,200 to 2,300. This can be efficiently and effectively used with 50% moisture as a fuel in the boiler furnace, and boiler water can be heated and steam can be generated, and this steam can be put into turbine, and thereby power can be generated. This is one process by which one waste can be utilized for the purpose of power generation, which adds to the one of the waste material with the advent of newer technology, what we call it as high pressure boilers. These high pressure boilers can be operated through a bagasse, and this bagasse can produce a power. Almost 1 ton of bagasse is capable of giving you 2 kVA of power to the production. Similarly, it will also have about 4% on weight of the sugarcane crushed will have a molasses. It is one of the waste product or a byproduct which is produced in the process of sugarcane. Sugarcane, when it is processed, when it is milled, further when it is evaporated, and in the process of centrifugation, the waste what is removed, a dark brown colored byproduct, which we call it as a molasses, which will be about 4%. That means to say 5,000 ton of sugarcane, if you crush in the sugar factory, about 200 tons, metric tons of molasses will be available. The same can be utilized in the distillery complex. Thereby, alcohol can be produced. This distillery on utility on fermentation of a molasses, the wastewater what is produced, we call it as a spent wash, which is actually a highly polluted and highly concentrated biological impurities will be there, and even high TDS content will also be there. Therefore, that is the reason why these industries have been classified as a red categories of industry. Even while classifying the EIA notification classifies all these things under the red category, and the environmental impact assessment has to be made before implementing or before taking up this sugar unit and a distillery unit for the operation. And all these process technologies have to be used. Control of pollutants by the way of different technology have to be given. Government of India now envisages all distilleries which are functioning, especially the distilleries which are having a capacity more than 60 KL production per day, has to invariably go for incineration process. That means the spent wash what is concentrated normally in a distillery for the production of 1 KL of alcohol, 10 KL of spent wash is generated. It has to be concentrated to a concentration of almost 2 to 3 KL, and thereby it has to be incinerated in an incinerator. Thereby, the process, such process only has been allowed by the Government of India as a treatment scheme. And another byproduct which is produced in the sugar unit is a press mud. All these things we call them as all the three, either as a byproducts or as a waste products. If these waste products are not properly processed, if they are not utilized properly, then naturally this causes a danger to the environment, and all these things are environmental polluting substances in the nature. By the way of using a press mud can also be mixed along with the spent wash in the 1:3 ratio, and thereby biofertilizer can be produced in the compost yard, and thereby that can be used as a biomanure. That's why the farmer's field, the product raw material what is taken will once again go back as a byproduct product to the farmer's land. Hence, we call this diagram as a sustainable development of the industry. The raw material what is obtained will come back even after processing directly to the farmer's field. Hence, it is called as a sustainable development. Of course, with all these developmental activities, the sugar unit, when it is operated, its economics, if you try to understand, the sugar production alone is a loss-making unit. Government of India will not allow only sugar unit to be operated, or only sugar is to be produced, and no one will be dare enough to start only sugar production. If you look at the calculations of all this in this explanation, I think you will be in a position to say yourself that it is not possible that sugar unit, standalone sugar unit cannot be operated by any individual or by any government. If you consider a one unit which is capable of crushing 5,000 tons per day, per month about 150,000 metric tons of the sugar cane can be crushed. On an average, I have taken as 10% recovery of sugar. It is just for the purpose of calculation I have made use. Sometime the recovery will be 8.5. When the sugar unit is started in the beginning, when day one, when you start the sugar factory, every season, every year, what I mean to say is, the first day of starting up of the sugar unit, you don't get to 5,000 tons of sugarcane from the farmer's field. They have to logistically work out. Management has to be meticulous, and even farmers should be in a position to, harvest the sugarcane, and they should be in a position to supply the sugarcane to the industry. It can stabilize only after about 10-15 days. In the beginning, when it is initiated, if there is a short supply, when the crushing is less, the recovery will also be less because of the maintenance and other process operational conditions. Not only this, if the matured sugarcane is not coming to the sugar unit, then also recovery percentage will be less. Crushing duration cannot be more than 200 days, 210 days in any of the sugar unit. Our experience in recent days is hardly 180 days. Sugar units are functioning, especially in the Karnataka and part of southern part of Karnataka. Hardly 200 and 210 days operation has been observed. Total crushing, if you take 200 days as a crushing period, crushing days, and 5,000 ton, even an average, if you consider, the sugarcane crushing will be about 10 lakh metric tons will be crushed. Thereby, the production of the sugar 10% with the 10% recovery will be 10 lakh quintals. As I told you, 10% only we can recover as a sugar from the sugarcane. Cost of estimation, if you try to analyze, as fixed by the government of India, it is actually 2,850. They are fixed, even though it is very difficult to provide that much of price to the cane, owing to the loss making of the sugar units. Therefore, the last year, the price fixed by the sugar industries, especially in northern part of the state, was 2,750. This cannot be offered by southern part of the state. Cane purchase tax will also be there. Sugar cane cess will also be there. The establishment of sugar unit of 5,000 TCD will have about 400 to 450 crores investment will also be there, and term loan and working capital. Working capital is required to pay to the farmers for the supply of raw material what they make. We'll have about per ton, it comes to about 350 rupees. Conversion cost is a employees overheads, chemicals, consumables, etc. What we have about per ton about 480 rupees. Bags, etc. used for packing and refilling, etc. will also be there. Depreciation of the entire unit, repairs and maintenance, etc. costs about 250 rupees. Thereby, as I told you, the cost of the sugarcane crushing per ton comes to about 4,000 rupees per ton. If you imagine that bagasse, what is generated is treated, watered for the steam and power, what the cogeneration is supplying. That means to say cost of the bagasse given by the sugar unit is equal to cost of the steam and power given by the cogeneration plant. Like that, if you equate and nullify, the total cost per ton of processing of a sugar cane amounts to 3,965 rupees, wherein the sugar cane 10% when you take 10 lakh ton of quintals of sugar, if you sell, the present rate is ranging between 2,950 to 3,100. It is fluctuating 100 rupees that way or this way. Of course, the market, what we get, maybe 34, 35 rupees we may get. That will have transportation, overheads, profit, and all that will be there. Even up to 38 rupees also people do consume. I am talking about the sugar plants where they are selling. At the selling point, if you take, there will be a net loss of 94,000 crores in 1 year by a sugar plant if it is established with respect to 5,000 TCD per day. And over and above, if you have a molasses sales, if you are crushing about 5,000 tons, as I told you, 200 metric tons per day, molasses is produced. 200 into 200 days, 40,000 metric ton, I may get the molasses. That also, if you sell at the cost of 7,500 rupees per ton, it may generate about 30 crores. Even the net loss, even after selling, if you don't have a alcohol unit at your complex, then the net loss to the sugar unit alone, standalone, if it is 64 crores in a season, there will be almost 5 to 6 crores. You will have a loss-making unit. The other byproduct, what I was just referring was the byproduct is a bagasse. Bagasse can be profitably used because of the utility of the high pressure boiler, and power can be generated. This cannot be operated only for the restricted period of 200 days. It can also be extended because a little saved bagasse will also be there for a 5,000 TCD unit. 22 to 24 megawatt power plant, if you install, a small bagasse will also be saved. And further, some additional bagasse can also be purchased, and thereby at least 300 days it can be operated. During the crushing season of 200 days, only 11 megawatt can be supplied to the grids, or it can be sold. During the off season, when there is no crushing, 16 megawatt power can be exported. For 100 days, 60 megawatt, and for 200 days, 11 megawatt. That is because of the reason that 5 megawatt consumption, additional consumption will also be there in the operation of the sugar unit. It requires a power, and it also requires a steam, and utility of steam reduces the consumption power and thereby total evacuation of power will be 9 crores, 12 lakhs unit of power can be exported. As on today, the government of Karnataka, I am talking only about the government of Karnataka price, for a cogeneration units, they are providing 4 rupees and 27. Earlier to this, way back in 95 and 96, the prices were very attractive because of the solar power and other non-conventional energy power rates have reduced. Even government's power agreement have also been reducing the rate. Thereby, you will have about 38 to 39 crores of income only because of the power what is generated and exported to grid. But the whole of the power revenue what is generated will not be a income to the sugar unit or a complex or to the power plant. This will also have certain expenditure. Suppose if you have a cogeneration plant for 100 days extra, then you may have to purchase about 60,000 metric tons of bagasse at the cost of about 1,200 rupees, and you will have to transport those from the different units or sugar units where extra bagasse is available. There will also be overheads for power evacuation, etc. Interest on term loan and working capital will also be there. Depreciation will also be there. Put together, 1 rupee and 95 paisa per unit will be an expenditure for each unit of power generated in the cogeneration plant. Thereby, the net income, this becomes an expenditure, and out of the total revenue generated, you will have about 21 crores additional income towards the sugar unit if you operate a cogeneration plant with the high pressure boilers. The other unit what we can think of along with the sugar unit is the other byproduct what is obtained is a molasses. Molasses can be profitably or it can be made use in the distillery unit, wherein distillery of 60 KLPD requires about per day, the requirement of a molasses will be about 240 metric ton. If you operate 5,000 TCD plant, about 200 metric ton of molasses will be available. And if you operate this, continuously operate, of course, molasses can be purchased wherever the sugar factories where no distillery unit is attached. From there, molasses can be purchased, and minimum 300 to 320 days it can be operated. Suppose if you operate for 300 days, the requirement for a 60 KL plant, the requirement of a molasses is about 240. That means to say almost 4 ton gives you 1 ton of alcohol. 72,000 metric ton of molasses is required. The cost of the molasses, whether you have a captive plant or anything, the molasses the cost has to be taken into account, and it comes about 54 crores. The cost of the raw material is about 54 crores. Cost of the alcohol selling at the present rate is about 47 rupees and 50 NP. 60,000 60 KLPD means per day we produce about 60,000 liters, and therefore for 300 days, 300 into 60 into 47.50, if you take, about 103 crores of income can be generated out of alcohol what is generated in the distillery. The conversion cost towards the distillation, toward working capital, as well as depreciations, chemicals, consumables, and management expenditure, etc., comes to around 7 rupees and 75 paisa per liter as per the calculations made in a specific industry. And thereby this comes to about 13 rupees and 90. If you take 54 crore as an investment, 13.9, 14 crores as another investment, net about 35 crores of investment income can be achieved out of the distillery plant of 60 KL. Of course, conventionally, the method what is being utilized or used in the sugar complex is normally earlier when sugar factories were operating in a cooperative basis, the press mud 4%, about 200 metric ton, what is produced was given to the farmers on a pro rata basis. That is, farmers how much they were giving, that is sugarcane how much they were giving, 4% of that used to be given them back while supplying the sugarcane on a free basis or for a nominal cost. Later on, sugar units thought that this is also one of the component wherein if you produce a biomanure or a biocompost, that becomes a income source for the industry. Thereby, they started converting the press mud into a biocompost by the use of a spent wash what is generated. Spent wash can be biomethylated. Biomethylated gas can also be utilized in the industry, in the boiler. Further, biomethylated liquid what is obtained can be mixed in the ratio of 1:3. That means 1 ton of press mud can be mixed with 3 ton of spent wash, biomethylated spent wash or a raw spent wash. And the compost what is obtained can be sold. So the requirement of compost for a 200 metric ton for 200 days, if it is operated, 40,000 metric ton of press mud is generated, which will have about 55% with 35% of moisture, and you will have a product of about 28,000 metric ton. By the sale of this compost at the rate of 2,500 per metric ton, about 7 crore income can be achieved out of this byproduct, one of the byproduct. And processing and infrastructure cost will also have towards this compost yard. Thereby, the net income out of the compost and compost yard alone would be about 6.3 crores to the industry. And if you look at these three components, one is the cogeneration, sugar, distillery, and a composting. 4 processes if you do, ultimately, even at the bottom line, if the prices are fixed and if the calculations are made, the industry still will have about 2 crores of loss every season or every year. That means to say, the sugar complex with this component, what I am referring, becomes a loss-making unit. Therefore, the chemical engineers and the technocrats who are the participants here will have a lot of scope in rejuvenating, or rather giving a fillip to this kind of a rural-based or agriculture-based industry. Thereby, of course, a small way, there are other developments which have been taken place. And this press mud as being, instead of using this for a compost purposes, this press mud is being utilized for biomethanation process. And with this biomethanation, the methane gas is exploited. The methane gas, what is obtained, is compressed and it is sold, or it is used as a fuel, not only inside, as well as it is transported and sold to the required industries on the basis of the price fixed by the agencies. It is said the technology is already available and this is being practiced. None of the Karnataka industries are following this. It is a high time that technocrats or the consultants who are here can advocate the industry so that they can make use of this facility. Thereby, the investment made can be profitably exploited for the income generation of the industry. It is always this kind of biocompost. Instead of using traditionally for the biocompost purpose, the press mud can be press mud normally has got a composition of about 25 to 30% of total solids, 70 to 75% of this organic matter, which can volatile substances, which can be converted profitably converted into. They are either a cellulose matter, hemicellulose, lignin, protein, sugar, wax, etc. will be there, which can be converted directly into biogas. 1 ton of press mud is said to, it is optimized to an extent of about 85 to 120 meter cube of biogas is produced, and ultimately this will contain about 60% of methane. Of course, this can be biodigested, and even digested biogas can be scrubbed to remove hydrogen sulfide, which may be a toxic ultimately if it is used. Burners may undergo a corrosion. Carbon dioxide can also be withdrawn from the biogas what is generated, and purified compressed biogas can be sold to the market or utilized in the industry for various heating and power generation purposes. Digested material what is obtained after biomethanation will also be a good fertilizer. This will have a component of this, and thereby on selling this product, including the fertilizer and the gas rate, now bio CNG has been fixed as 46 rupees. About 10 crores of income can be obtained out of this. The other way, of course, various other inputs, agriculture inputs and MSW, municipal solid waste can also be utilized for the purpose of biodigestion purposes, and biogas can be produced. This can be transported in the form of cascades and it can be sold in the market. The other material, the spent wash. What is a waste product obtained in the distillery is a spent wash which contains a rich of potassium. Potassium in an agriculture terms is always referred as a potassium fertilizer, which will be a combination of KCl, muriate of potash or sulfate of potash, which is essentially a plant nutrient, as NPK is said to be a major plant nutrients. Potassium is also one of the important nutrient, which is not produced in India. For the benefit of the agriculture scientists, of course, the whole of the potassium fertilizer what is produced is imported to India. Consuming a lot of foreign forex. Last year alone, 17-18 financial year, India imported about 36 lakh tons of fertilizer. The cost of potassium fertilizer is said to be 20,000 to 22,000 per ton. So this is another area wherein the scientists and technocrats, of course, a small work has been done, and the plants which are operating still they have some teething problems. The technocrats and the engineers and chemical engineers especially, they take up these studies which are suitable to individual and independent industries of the Karnataka, not only in Karnataka but also in India, under the scheme of Make in India concept. If the industries are supported, I think we will have a lot of revenue and sustainability towards the sugar complex and a sugar industry, not only with respect to financial aspects, but also with respect to environmental aspects. As I told you, the CPCB guidelines and Government of India guidelines says that all of the industries especially distillery industries are producing more than 60 KL alcohol. Normally, I told you earlier also, 1 KL of alcohol produces about 10 KL of spent wash in a diluted manner. But there are process technologies which are available. They are concentrated in the distillation columns, and ultimately only 3 KL of spent wash is produced at the outlet. That is the permission what has been accorded by CPCB as well as Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change for implementing the environmental management plan to the distillery units. Existing incinerators generates about 40 to 60 tons of fly ash based on the type of raw material which is being used, along with the spent wash. Along with the spent wash, supportive fuel is also being used. Sometimes they use coal, sometimes they use bagasse, sometimes they also use paddy husk, etc. as a filler materials, and thereby this is being utilized as a fuel component. And thereby the fly ash what is obtained, spent wash burning, ultimately the fly ash what is obtained will have about 25 to 30% of potassium, and that can be profitably extracted by using these plants and machineries. Of course, the fly ash what is obtained can be extracted through the water, and it can be filtered. Filtered extract will have a potassium salts that can be operated in an evaporator. Centrifuge machine can be used. Fluid bed dryer can be utilized. Boilers and turbines are also required to obtain a steam and heating devices. Cooling tower is also required to reduce the temperature, and obtained products can be taken into a room temperature. The process flow chart has also been given here for the process of spent wash fly ash what is obtained, which can be converted into potassium rich fertilizer. The raw material cost, if you try to work out for this, the cost of the 3 ton of fly ash is required to produce 1 ton of potassium fertilizer. Thereby its cost has been worked out, and all that cost comes to about 9,000 rupees per ton, including the process cost and the investment to be made on the infrastructure required or the utilities required for the purpose. As I told you, the cost of selling cost of the potassium fertilizer is about 18,000 rupees per ton, and thereby even 9,000 rupees, if you have a cost of expenditure on material and the investment, still you will have a 9,000 rupees per ton as an income. With this, I think we have this technology, if it is utilized. Ultimately, the loss making industry, what it was earlier seen, we have seen about 60 crores. 60 crores is a loss if the 5,000 TCD ton, sugar industry is operated without utilizing all these wastes for the environmental sound purpose as well as the economical extraction purposes. Only cogeneration and the alcohol and the composting were the technologies which were practiced in most of the industries so far throughout India. But all these ultimately still gives a negative balance towards the industry, or there may be, depending upon the recovery percentage. This is one example. What I quoted is only an example of the industry wherein the rates what I have quoted and rates what I have taken are the book of records of one industry which I have taken and presented for your understanding. Of course, if the other technologies, the CNG, if it is compressed biofuel, if it is exploited. Further, there is also another component which I have forgotten to tell you. There is another byproduct which is produced in the fermentation process of the ethanol. 60 kg plant is capable of producing about 20 tons of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is also a waste. Nowadays, this carbon dioxide is also compressed and it is sold as a dry gas, or dry ice, which is also used in the market to freeze the materials, especially in the fish industry. It is being used in large quantity, and thereby the cost of each ton ranging between 2,500 rupees to 3,000 rupees, and thereby by exploiting these byproducts towards the industry. I just give you a list of up to the composting phenomena. I told you there will be about 2 crore loss. Suppose if these 3 technologies are made available to the industries, the carbon dioxide may generate about 1.5 crores for 300 days, and potassium fertilizer can generate about 5.4 crores of income, and CNG is capable of giving about 9 crores of income. Thereby, almost 16 crores of income will be there with these 3 components, which have to be added to the sugar unit, along with the conventionally what is being operated in the present day sugar complex. And thereby, even if you take 2 crore loss, if it is taken with this additional infrastructures in the industry, about 14 crores will be an income. Almost a monthly 1 crore income can be seen with the implementation of all this. Thereby, economical stability and industry can become economically viable, and waste is converted into a wealth. And further, the waste what is causing an environmental damage by producing a lot of nuisance, including the spent wash, bagasse, press mud, etc. and these carbon dioxide which is emitted to atmosphere, etc., are all dangerous to the atmosphere. And all these things which are optimally and technically utilized in the industry can not only substantiate the economical strength but also give environmental strength to the industry as well as to the nation, not only to the nation, to the entire world. With this explanation, I personally feel that the whole of the picture about the sugar unit and its economic stability and environmental activities have tried to present before you. If you have any queries, we can 5 to 10 minutes. Each one of you can ask me the questions based on the inputs available. Right now I can answer, or otherwise, if the answer is to be answered, it can be communicated to you at a later stage. I really thank the organizers for giving me such a wonderful opportunity to talk to all of you on this day. With this, over to Dr. Puttaswamy or his colleagues too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your continuous almost 1.5 hour session. Really, there's a lot of information you have given, which many participants might have not known or some.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
I'm not hearing. There's some problem, I think.
Sir, I think there is an issue with, I am Dr. Chetan here. I think there is some issue
please,
with
please.
the page. I think he'll reconnect again.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
I'm hearing now.
Chetan, I'm not audible?
There was a break in between.
Okay, now it's okay.
Yeah, you can go ahead, sir.
Go ahead. Any participants?
Hello.
Internet problem was there. That is the reason I could. I think there's a problem. And now I request all the participants to ask any questions. You can unmute and you can ask questions if you have any specific questions, please.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Murali, Assistant Professor of Chemistry. Sir, when you are doing the recovery process, hello, in the recovery of the molasses, what technology will you develop to recover the byproducts?
No, this is the most versatile industry.
Another one, the pulp which is coming at the end, what will be? It will be profitable or not?
Which pulp you are talking about?
Last, at the end of the product, you will get some. You told pulp or something. It will come
Bagase? Press mud.
Sugar industry, as I told you in the beginning only, it is the most ancient industry, most versatile industry, and technology is frozen. And it is a well-known process. When the sugar is crushed, sugarcane is crushed, juice is appeared.
Yeah. Okay.
Then what happens? It is passed through various evaporators.
What is technology? What is the? How will you separate all these byproducts and everything? Sir?
That is only a centrifugation and filtration process. Okay. Sugar unit process, especially for a chemical engineer, sugar industry, most of the unit operations can be seen in the sugar industry, starting from a cutter to evaporation and a filtration process. All chemical engineers unit operations can be seen in this unit. It's only, you see, when the crystallization takes place after concentration.
Okay.
During the centrifugation process, these dirt, actually molasses is actually a dirt part. Along with it is brown thick liquid, it comes about 4%. By centrifugation, what happens? White crystalline in the process of sulfatization process.
Yeah, correct.
It's done for the sugar liquid.
But yes, sir. Sir, distillation technique is followed there?
Followed by crystallization.
Only crystallization. Okay, sir. Sir, what happened to the
evaporation and crystallization? During the crystallization, centrifugation is done. During that centrifugation, this inorganics along with the waste, the molasses product. In the molasses, about 50% sugar content will also be there. Along with that, all inorganics which were entrapped when the sugar cane is sown, some dirt particles will also come. Along with that, all these things are centrifuged and removed.
Okay, sir.
It's a process as such. It is a very versatile process. If you can visit the sugar unit, I think you will be in a position to understand.
No, sir. Actually, if you visit sugar industry, you will not be seeing anything. Only thing, if you have to stay maybe a few days, then you have to understand, sir.
Of course.
Because I have visited 20 times, but understanding is only 5%.
No, closely you will have to involve in the process.
Yes, sir.
Then
Yes,
it is, it is.
Sir, what is the byproduct percentage, sir?
Understand, doctor, it is only a centrifugation process which separates, bifurcates. Crystalline surface of sugar is bifurcated and it is crystallized and then it is dried and taken out. This semi-liquid type of the material, what is obtained as a molasses, is collected. It is about 4% of the total crushed material.
Sir, byproduct, what are the other byproducts they'll get it?
I told you, bagasse is one byproduct. I told you, bagasse is a one byproduct. Molasses is the other byproduct. And the next one is a filter cake. Filter cake is the ultimate dirt. What is obtained in even molasses are also bifurcated through these kind of a fibrous material. Fibrous and dirt will be separated through a filtration process. There is a centrifugal filtration.
Okay.
Molasses is separated and the filtered cake is taken out. This cake is called as a press mud.
Okay.
This press mud will have a volatile solids, fiber material.
Yes.
And this can be profitably used for the purpose of composting or the generation of biogas.
Correct.
Through fermentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, is there any participants has got any questions? You can unmute and speak to the speaker. You can ask questions. Tarun Prakash sir, if you want, you have to need to unmute it. Your speaker.
Good morning, Tarun Prakash. Are you here?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good evening for me. I am in USA, California.
Oh, nice to know that you are. Well, sir, what is the efficiency of the process?
Efficiency, as I told you. I told you, from the beginning you are not there?
No, I joined late.
Actually, bagasse is about 15% in the dry basis.
Okay.
And earlier technologies and earlier recovery of the sugar from the sugar cane has been increased because of many innovations made and the technocrats who have contributed to the might of the sugar industry. When the sugar cane is crushed, it is crushed in the mill in different stages. It is not in one crushing. It is done.
Yes, sir.
4 to 5 mills are being used for the crushing purposes. In each stage, water is added so that water carries a sugar content of the sugar cane crushed. In earlier, cold water they were using. In recent days, hot water they started using it to it. Thereby, extraction phenomena can be increased. Now, whatever the sugar which goes along with the bagasse is a waste, is a loss making. Actually, the efficiency has reached now to 0.2%. Only permitted. If it is more than that sugar, if it goes along with the fiber, Bagase, it is adding to the loss of the sugar unit.
Yeah, uneconomical. Right, sir.
Uneconomical. That is the efficiency. Earlier also, in the process of sugar, for a evaporation process, per ton of sugar processing, sugar cane processing, they used to have about 47%.
Right, sir.
The stream for its utility. Now it has been reduced to 28 to 30%. Thereby, efficiency day by day it is being increased by many innovations made or additions what they have been added to the industry. Even though it is a old industry and versatile industry, there is a lot of scope to give many inputs to the industry. Thereby, profitability can be increased.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dharma Prakash.
Thank you, sir. Nice seeing you.
Thank you very much.
Right, sir.
Doctor, if there are no queries.
Hello, sir. One more last question I want to ask you.
Please.
Hello.
Please carry on, sir.
Murali. I am Murali speaking from Atria. That's my question is that you told pollution control, whether it is how to control this pollution, whether it is acceptable limit or it will goes behind the limits.
No, see, that is the thing what technologies have been advised by the boards as well as pollution control board as well as by the ministry. See, when there is a process industry, the byproducts and the wastes are produced. These wastes have to be treated to the standard which is required as per the law. Muraliji.
Yes, sir.
You are hearing now?
I'm listening, sir. I'm listening.
Yeah. See, the
sir,
technology.
Pollution control board, it will get approval for this pollution.
Yeah, definitely.
It will not create environmental problem or nearby surrounding areas. The people will affected or not. That will not have any issue.
No. All these approvals are required for them. Pollution control board approval is required. If the industry is more than 5,000 TCD, Ministry of Environment and Forest, Government of India approval is also required. Then you have to give how actually they control the emissions, how they treat the waste produced, etc. have to be given. Accordingly, they have to work.
Okay,
During the process of operation, they have to control the emissions. Standard what they have been stipulated.
Yes, sir.
That is invariably it is there.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
No, nowadays that zero liquid discharge concepts have been adopted. That I think.
Doctor, you are right. Even see, the kind of what I was just referring was incineration technology.
Yeah.
Incineration technology, what has been introduced is a zero discharge technology from distillery. And further to that, the fly ash can also be further recovered with the phosphate sugar, potassium sugar. And thereby environmental hazard can be reduced.
Sir, I have one question, sir. No, as per whatever I have interacted and my understanding, sir, can I?
Please go ahead, Doctor. Please go ahead.
Whatever, as per my understanding, these statutory bodies are insisting to incinerate the rich organic matter.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, it is a national waste and criminal waste.
Yeah, gives out carbon emission.
See, you cannot burn carbon and release carbon and use carbon to burn carbon. Even I have discussed with many of these people, and none of them are able to understand or correlate what is that they are doing and the mistake what they are doing actually. So it is a rich in potash, rich in maybe fiber, rich in carbon, and rich in the manure can be converted, and maybe some management aspect has to be changed. What I feel rather than incineration of concentration and incineration. Even if they incinerate also, if they concentrate also, finally better to avoid incineration.
What I mean, why? See, I was also a party to the deliberations made by Government of India in many of the occasions. When the technologies have been deliberated, even in CPCB also, they have asked for some opinions when they wanted to bring out this method of incineration as a mandatory requirement. See, most of the case studies what have been taken up in India, especially with respect to compost and fertile irrigation, etc., and all these days, the industries and the stakeholders have misused. For the government agencies, there was no other go to do such kind of strict measures. As you rightly said, it is a fact. But all that organic, if it is burnt again, it causes a air pollution. Water pollution is converted into air pollution. I fully agree. But the concept, air pollution, can be controlled by the way of controlling the emissions. But liquid discharge, it becomes very difficult to identify or rather control in remote places where the industries are operating. That is the one thing. And with the advent of technology of recovery of potash, I think it is possible that potash can be recovered from the ash what is obtained, and profitably it can be used as a biomanure. Don't delay that is there, but administrative and practicing purposes, especially for the monitoring agencies, this has been seen as a viable method. That's why they are insisting. And for large, they are insisting only for the higher capacity, not for the lower capacity. Higher capacity handling of a wastewater is also a issue for the industries. Therefore, it is happening like that.
I think participants mute their speaker in case. Yeah, I'll mute. Sir.
Anything more? Hello.
Yes, sir. We are able to hear you, sir.
Okay.
I am Dr. Chetan here. So I just wondering. See, for sugarcane industries, they are using an enormous amount of energy. Can't we look into newer technologies wherein the concentration of the sugar can be achieved to a certain level, so that energy required to bring the sugar from to the crystalline state can be rather than using multiple effect evaporator, can you look for some other newer technologies wherein sugar can be obtained at a lesser cost as well as lesser energy requirement?
Dr. Chetan, the technologies are already available. See, the conventional method, what is being practiced in India and Karnataka, I was just referring. I tell you, the reason I also told you while explaining, the sugar industry is also a water producing industry, because 70% of the water is there in a sugarcane. You know, when sugarcane is crushed, 70% is water, 15% is fiber.
Correct.
Only 10 to 12% is only a sugar. You know that?
Yes, sir.
See, either you should go for a agriculture technology wherein with less quantity of water, the crop should be capable of giving you sugarcane. And of course, there is a technology, even in a dry scale, this can be fiberized and extracted. Only sugar can be extracted. Okay.
Yes,
and
sir.
That technology, what is available, is a very high capacity technology, and through RO membranes, yes, it is possible. RO membranes, it can be passed through. Water can be bifurcated, and sugar can be evaporated. But the investment made on that, the economics involved.
Yes,
see,
sir.
you cannot have a chapel with silver this thing, no?
Correct, sir.
Are a gold. Only other we can use chapel. So this way, compatibility has to be seen. Economics have to be seen.
Yes, sir.
Even with the present system, the economy, actually 60 crores will be a loss if 5,000 TCD is operated with the present system. The reason is Sugar price cannot be increased. You know that why all this is happening. Sugar price cannot be increased because the market, whole of the people will make a hue and cry, and government cannot face the general public in the market. Further, if you reduce the price, farmers will have a hue and cry. Farmers have to be satisfied. You know that if you reduce the price, farmer will not grow your sugarcane. He will not grow. He will shift it to paddy and other crops. Sugar cane. This is just like a two-edged sword.
Yes, sir. It's a cycle of part.
It is a typical. This industry is a very typical industry. Price cannot be fixed by you. Farmer expenditure is also going on, increasing day by day.
Correct, sir.
Right? He needs only this price. If you fix up his price, market price will be different, because we have a WTO, World Trade Organization. People will dump their sugar. Brazil will dump their sugar to a lower cost. Then who will buy the Indian sugar?
Correct.
See, these are the vicious circles, what we say. So therefore, thinking and investing on all this is very difficult. That's why we'll have to think about waste utilization. That's in the beginning only I told Dr. Puttaswamy and his team has selected a very appropriate topic for the day. And the technocrats and the scientists who are here has to think about how actually economy can be extracted, environment can be made safe by the available resources with the available technology. Newer innovations and small changes and recovery of the waste to a useful product has to be only a driving force with respect to this. Or otherwise, it is very difficult. Even though it is an agriculture-based industry, it is an industry as such.
Thank you, sir.
And
thank you.
Farmers are involved here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So I hope there is no other questions. I think we have also exceeded 15 minutes and started 5 minutes late and 10 minutes exceeded. So I think you are also getting late to sleep, sir. You go and sleep.
No. That's all right. That's not an issue. Thank you very much, Dr. Swami, and all the participants. I once again thank you. My email ID will be there with Dr. Puttaswamy. If some queries are there, some discussions are there, you are allowed to, or you can contact me at any time. Even I have a cell number also.
No, I'll put it on the chat box, sir. Actually, you are.
Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you very much once again for the opportunity given to me.
Thank you, sir, for your time and all the effort you have taken to present and be with us.
Thank you. All the best, Puttaswamy. You and your team.
Sir, many have chat. They have expressed in chat actually very informative session and very good session, and they are most of them are happy actually. So
thank you.
That is one thing. So I told you. You are a knowledge resource for the sugar and distillery and as well as cogen industry. And even apart from that, other pharma and maybe most of the industries, since you are vast involvement, long involvement with regulatory as well as industry. Yeah, thank you, sir. Maybe we can all join at 11:30. There's a session is going to be taken by Mr. Swami, former engineer in chief in BWSSB. He's going to talk on wastewater and untrapped resource for energy.
Once again,
Sir,
all the best. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.